Alright, we should be live. So, when I opened the game this time, I was asked to enter the current time again for some reason. And then when I did that, this hang on thing came up. So I have no idea what that's about. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the game.
Oh,
A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. All right, I'll let you get back to the video game now.
that is.
Well, I'm glad I started the stream first. What the fuck?
Oh man.
Uh, Stanley Parable is finding new ways to fuck with us.
Mhm.
I love it so much.
You don't even get back to the menu when the game's already fucking with you.
Yeah. You know, I was wondering why it was even making me set the clock in the first place. It's like, couldn't it
Now
just
you know.
detect the system time? It literally did that in the original game, but turns out it's just for a gag. Because of course it would be. Of course it would be.
Everything in this game is either a gag or setting up for one.
Indeed.
This is the
A story we already know. Yeah. Got it. Even unlocked. Welcome back. So, I should probably, like, mention a,
all
sort
of
of
his
theory
co-workers were gone.
that I came
What
up
could
with
it mean?
after the stream ended last
Stanley
time.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait for the coordinator
Yeah.
first. Wait, narrator.
Coordinator. Uh, I noticed that, like, in the two endings that we got, along the way, I genuinely didn't notice any new, like, paths or anything like that. It just seemed like, you know, all the choices that were already in the game. So I have to wonder, like, how the new stuff is even going to come into this. Because I said no, like, have you played the Stanley Parable before? Because I selected no, because, you know, Taylor hasn't, seen this stuff before, so we're showing Taylor. Does that mean that, like, the new stuff won't be accessible until we've done all of the base game stuff? That's kind of the theory that I'm thinking of. Because, you know, what else is there besides, like, potentially there's some, like, really obscure path that all of the new choices branch out from somehow? That's what I think, at least. You guys still there?
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
No matter how
Yeah, I'm
hard
still
Stanley
here.
looked,
Sorry,
he
I
couldn't find a
accidentally had
trace of his
myself muted.
co-workers.
You had yourself muted?
Yeah, complete accident there.
I see.
So, should we still have Taylor like choosing routes for a little longer?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. What do you think, Taylor?
Sure.
Yeah, you need to make the cold decisions.
Forgot if anything happens if you do this.
Oh, and I guess this is where Stanley felt he needed to be right now, in this little hallway. Here, with no distractions, to study room 417. Not to actually enter it. No, 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 no. That would be far too forward. Stanley wanted to know it from the outside. To see it not just with his eyes, but with his heart. He would know room 417 as no man or woman had ever known an office before. That ladder over there. Oh, and that little picture of a horizon or something. It's all just a never-ending parade of joy for Stanley.
I don't
That's
actually remember any
right.
of that, so
Yeah, I was about to say that's new, right?
either that or it's just so obscure that, like, no Let's Player has ever done it, in my experience.
What if
Awesome.
you go into the room?
That would be far too forward. What are you talking about? We can't do that.
Ah, no, apparently not.
No, nothing. If I come back in here. Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What are you feeling this time, Taylor? Which door speaks to you?
I forget the route, but what if you go back to the mind control place and hit on?
You want to
Could
go
do
back
that.
to the mind control place and hit the on button?
Yeah.
Alright.
Me and Grayson were actually talking afterwards
Yet there was
about
not a
how
single
we
person
weren't
here
sure if you
either.
were going to hit on
Feeling a
or off.
wave
We were
of
pretty
disbelief,
split
Stanley
50-50 as to which
decided to
one
go
you would
up
do
to
when
his
you got
boss's
there.
office,
Yeah.
hoping he might find an answer there.
Do we explore the broom closet this time?
Would anything change?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Do we get back on track? Because
I
this last
think
time
we
you said
look
yes.
at the mop bucket.
Oh yeah, the
There
mop
was
bucket's
nothing
pretty
here.
great.
No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
I love how like this little door frame thing has more detail than the texture of this mop bucket.
Indeed.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
The wrench.
Mhm.
Apparently I can
What
slightly
does
get up
sweet
onto the
FA
shelf.
mean?
Fuck all.
Are you really still in the broom
Ah.
closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
How did I get onto that shelf? Oh. Am I on it
Well,
again?
that's interesting. I didn't know you could do that.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Oh. I got raised up again.
Maybe to you
Aye.
this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Hey, you see I'm like getting onto the shelf a little bit.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
I
Oh,
forgot.
wow.
I forgot he said.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
I might be the only one who noticed this, but that dialogue just now was edited in 2 different parts.
Yep. There
Yeah,
also
you
was
noticed
a
that?
discrepancy. Yeah, there was also discrepancy between the what was being written and what was being said. There was one point at which he said, I actually forget, but there was one word that was different than the one he said.
Literally unplayable.
Oh, I didn't
I-
even see what that was. The one that stood out to me most was them changing he or she to they. Like, they obviously re-recorded that bit.
That makes sense.
It does.
It's not 10 years ago or whenever the original came out.
Second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Oh, yes, they can.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Alright. Peter and I both agreed that you needed to see that.
Coming to a staircase,
Yeah.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Everything in this game leads to a joke.
It does.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Honestly, the fact that there are people who just
Stanley
get
walked
burnt
straight
out of
ahead through
work
the large
randomly
door
one
that read
day,
Mind
just
Control
even without
Facility.
the mind control facility, I totally believe there could be a day he'd wake up from it all and go, huh, why am I doing this?
The lights
Indeed.
rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This
Random thought. Doesn't seem like they have the save or load options that they did in the original one.
That's curious.
mind
Rather
control
unfortunate.
facility. It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Well, how is that ending, Taylor?
Interesting. Not something I expected. That's for
Nothing in
sure.
this game is what you would expect.
Indeed.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided
There's
to
not
go
a
to the
way to
meeting room.
actually beat
Perhaps
timer
he had
on that
simply
one,
missed
right?
a memo.
No, I mean, the developers could be fucking with us by adding some like
No
new
matter
way
how hard
in
Stanley looked,
the new
he couldn't
version,
find a
but
trace of his
they literally
co-workers.
data mined the old version, and there was no way to do it. They like dissected the purpose of like every button in every console. It's like, oh, when you press this button, then this screen changes for this many seconds, and like that was it. There was nothing else to it.
Indeed. Would we be able to do the achievement thing yet, or does that unlock later?
The click on door or 35 times achievement.
Yep.
Sure, we could do that.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
I just love that this is a fucking thing.
No, I'm still not feeling it.
Great.
I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. Where's 417? 417.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Door 437. Okay. There it is.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so. Now, back to door number 437.
Turn that off. For luck.
Of course.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk. Yes, this is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it. Now the copy machine, do that one again.
That's a really hard achievement.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks on door 430. Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking?
Achievement.
I just love the thought of like some crazy person doing all of these things in an actual office building with coworkers.
Yeah.
How do you click on a door in real life?
Just jiggling the doorknob.
Yeah. So, any
When
path that
Stanley
you have in
came
mind
to a
this
set
time,
of
Stanley?
2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What about the same route again, except the time you take the escape?
Ooh, that's fun.
The escape, huh?
Yeah.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided, oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I forgot there was an extra
Coming
line
to a
to that.
staircase,
Yeah.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
I think you can see why we were so excited for this version of the game to come out.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
They even skipped the elevator ride. I'm not sure I was aware of that.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So it was escape you wanted?
Yeah.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Well, that sounds exciting. Oh.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. Nope, still on board with death? The door
Could you
behind
reset your
him was
stream real
not
quick?
shut. Stanley still had
Sure.
Yeah, it's been being fuzzy for like the last 20 seconds for some reason.
Good old Discord.
every
Yeah,
opportunity
good
to
old
turn
Discord.
around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
This looks like a good sign, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
100%.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
So the narrator has a
When
narrator
every
now?
path
Yep.
you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
So this is a fun area that we're in. This is basically a whole bunch of like developer commentary style stuff, like office layout. This blueprint shows the office layout from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Yep, Stanley's office.
Interesting.
Here's where door 430 would be. There's the copy machine. There's 419's desk. This little hallway. And then the two doors. Pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. The two doors. The set of two doors, two open doors, was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Filing cabinets.
Exciting.
Office computers. There's solitaire. Doors. Button sounds. Selection of button sounds used throughout the game. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone.
Where's the 8 button?
Unfortunately, not in this selection.
Did you hit 3 a few more times? I know it's a weird request, but it sounded different. Yeah, that one changes. I
Yeah.
did not realize that until now.
Same. Learning new stuff about the game.
Indeed.
And here's the credits.
Yep, because we have to stick those somewhere. And where the fuck else are you going to stick credits?
The impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. Like the one name that I remember, despite the fact that all of these people are very important to the game.
Indeed.
The office. Maintenance room. Early version of the maintenance room. So this is obviously the one that led to the confusion ending.
Good old conventional line.
Indeed. Ultra Deluxe announcements. In December 2018, we announced the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable at the Game Awards. These are screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement and the game's delay.
Fun.
Fun.
Hey.
Warzone.
Yeah, there were like even videos of the narrator speaking about how they were going to delay the game, and they're even really wild. Everything that's about this universe is something, I'll tell you.
Yeah, even the trailers are hilarious. Which you might be able to gather from the fact that even the demo is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to clarify for Grayson's viewers, we did have Taylor look at the demo before we jumped into this.
Yep. But I love the videos that they put out on the Stanley Parable channel for like the original game, like before the original game's release. Like there was one email that they got from Raphael. You remember that one, Peter?
Actually, no, I can't say that I do.
Oh, it's incredible. The Raphael person was very critical of the Stanley Parable and how he did not enjoy the game whatsoever. And so they built an entirely new version of the Stanley Parable that allowed you to do literally everything. And it's pretty great. They even have like an options menu with sliders for how much emotion you want to be in the game. If you set both sliders to max, you activate Raphael mode.
It's incredible. This game is something else.
It's pretty great. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention.
You hear that, Kobe? They're not against you.
Indeed. God, imagine if this was in the game. What a wild thing to see.
Indeed.
I don't think I ever saw the text on this. Alien base, awesome. Early version of the lounge.
I want to stay there for 5 minutes.
I'd only stay in this one for 1 minute. It's not as good as the final version.
Indeed.
Narrator emails. After the second trailer we asked people to email the narrator for questions. While we had initially planned to use these for further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here's a selection of those emails. Quesian, are you a rock? Can you tell me what the significance of the number 1112800 is? What?
No.
Well, the thing I want to know is, what would you do if Stanley entered any other rooms? What is Stanley's last name? Yes, you can ask the narrator anything. You ask what Stanley's last name is. Congratulations.
Oh, I get it. It's one of those spam emails.
Yeah. Greetings, omnipotent voice.
Humorously small
Urgent
badger.
response needed. The
now
transfer
there's
of $24 billion. Dead strong bad. How do you type with boxing gloves on, Ben?
Oh, that's so
What?
good.
Well, I'm glad we checked that out.
Why did an SB Mel end up in there?
Yeah. There's someone who was very confused, or they're being very funny.
Probably both.
Cargo lift. This looks like a Portal 2, or Portal 1 map, rather.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Cargo lift. That's certainly a cargo lift.
Indeed.
Timer. Bunch of old layouts for the choice kind of thing.
Indeed.
See, it seems like the number 1 is the one most like the final version.
Yep. I love that number 4 just has a vent.
Yep, just a vent. I mean, it does make sense because it kind of plays into the idea of like, you weren't supposed to go the wrong way, but there's like a sort of back entrance you can take to the correct way to go. Gubby posted a spoilered message that Taylor can't see. Yeah, that makes sense. Meeting room.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, Kobe.
Levers. You can't flip them. What's the point of a lever you can't flip? This is why buttons are superior.
Mm-hmm.
The game is now paused. A long time we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized that this is what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone.
Yeah, I can say that without a guide, I don't think I would have figured out that would be a thing if they had added it.
I could go down from the monitor room. They cut that choice.
Ah.
Freedom ending.
Ah.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
Very weird desk that doesn't appear anywhere in the final game.
Indeed.
Freedom ending. Now the first incarnation of the freedom ending.
I feel like designing outside is so very different from everything else they've done in this game that must have taken them a bit longer, just because everything had to be done for the first time.
Indeed. Very different boss offices.
Bospices.
Exactly. A lounge. Underground. Escape and mind control facility. Narration outtakes. Just a room where they play constantly.
Then he pushed the number 4. Now look closely, Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you.
I think I have an idea where that was supposed to play.
Well, try the other one then.
Yeah, same.
Now then, this elevator for sure will get him right back on track to where he was supposed to be in the story.
Man, someday I've got to see if anyone just like dumped all of those lines into a YouTube video or something.
Most likely. I feel like probably someone has.
Someone has to have.
If it exists, there's either a YouTube video of it or a YouTube video that was taken down of it.
Indeed.
Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I have seen exceptions to that. But for the most part, it's true.
Early countdown room. I think we've seen pretty much everything. Oh wait, there's something over here. Game design mockup. This is a level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mockup is still in the game. I mean, yeah, that's the copy machine you click on for the Door 430 achievement.
Yep. I love copy machines.
Indeed. They're fantastic.
Indeed.
I say
Hate
despite not having seen one.
machines.
Yeah, in reality, I actually rather dislike them because they jam all the time.
Yeah. Stanley's office in 2011, 2012, and 2013. Certainly has changed a lot.
Indeed. Well, it is 2022.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure the game released in like 2013. So it's
Indeed.
just like over the years of development.
So now it's 2022.
Indeed. I think the exit was back this way. There we go.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll
What
be
do you
walking
think, Taylor?
someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Taylor let time choose for us.
Indeed.
At least look at like the interaction sound effects. She randomly got the achievement, you can't jump. I haven't even been trying to jump.
Well, you can't, so
All of
good.
his co-workers were
Indeed.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Now where should we go?
Is there any way into room 417?
I don't believe so.
If there is, it's something in the new part.
Where else is there to go?
Oh,
You've
there's all the
chosen
stuff
one,
down
like-
the, right door. There's
Ah,
also
true.
the staircase down the left door.
Yep.
Let's go to the staircase.
Alright.
You are definitely determined to get all the left endings, aren't you?
When Stanley
But to be
came to a
fair,
set of
staircase
two
on the
open
left
doors,
is one of
he
my
entered the door on
favorites.
his
It is
left.
pretty great, so I'm looking forward to you seeing this one.
Nice.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a
Narrator's not
staircase,
playing
Stanley
anymore.
walked upstairs
Yeah.
to his boss's office.
This looks like a good place to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
But Stanley just
absolutely.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Nope.
Nope.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Definitely one of the most surreal endings.
For sure.
We don't even get to play as Mariella.
Sadly, no.
Unbelievable. I want a refund.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So where should we go now?
Somewhere to the right.
somewhere to the right.
That sounds like the right choice. What?
Wow.
Well,
That's
I guess my guess was right.
yeah. I think we probably should show Taylor the rest of the old content first, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna be leaving new content. You have fun over there.
When Stanley
Yeah, you
came to a set
stay
of
there,
2 open
please.
doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
You gotta see what's
No,
down
we
there.
didn't.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to guess that like the have you played the Stanley Parable thing, like the only thing that changes is that door appears like immediately. Or
Probably.
I'm betting there's like a certain percentage of the endings that you have to get before it appears if you press no, because I mean part of me was wondering if you need to get like every normal ending. I mean, sure, certain Easter egg ones could be excluded, but you know, I was wondering if they would like eventually show like a tracker of some kind. But no, they just
Yeah.
put the door right there.
Like, for example, a certain very long ending, I highly doubt would count one way or the other.
Oh yeah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Lighting in this room looks different. Weird
Yeah, it
thing to
does.
comment
Weird.
on, but you know, in some regards it looks better because it looks more like sunlight from the windows. If
Yep.
that makes sense.
Looks more like a warehouse.
Yeah. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've
Well, there goes
gotten off on the
$1,000.
wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
What
Say
now?
goodbye
Someone
to
you've forgotten
$5,000.
about.
Jump off?
Please,
that?
stop
Yeah.
trying to make every decision by yourself. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Good job.
Hooray!
Death
All
You
of
ending.
his
did it.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
The second
Stanley
one.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a
Imagine
set
that.
of 2 open doors, this was
Yeah.
We
not
want
the
to head
correct
back
way
there
to the
because
meeting
I
room, and
think we
Stanley
saw
knew it
everything there
perfectly
is on
well.
the left
Perhaps
path.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Well, actually, that's not
Wow. Yes.
entirely
No,
Yes,
there
a
is-
room. But
Yeah,
there is
I
as
will
he
one
say
more.
right
went to
now that
business,
there is an
Stanley
ending
took
so
the first
obscure that
open
I would
door on
have
his
to show
left.
you it because you would never, like, guess that it's there yourself.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
Huh.
it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yep, you can choose to go there if you want after we're done with this, or we could do another ending down this way.
Indeed.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
What do you think, Taylor?
Let him go to voicemail.
I don't know if this phone has voicemail.
Sure it does.
It doesn't.
But it's safe to say that what you want us to do is not pick up the phone, right?
Yeah.
So don't pick
Okay.
up the phone?
No.
Okay.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices, and to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember
No.
that in the vast infiniteness of
Nah,
space,
I expect
your
them to
thoughts
say
and
no.
problems are
Oh, they
materially
basically did.
insignificant, and the
Yep.
feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry.
Or-
Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
I just love that video. It's so wild.
It's so good. I also noticed some changes from the original version.
Oh,
First of all, they actually gave you enough time to say the "my goodness, is it 4:30" thing. In this version, they just don't care whether you had a chance to say it or not. They just cut to the next thing immediately. And I love that.
beautiful.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What do you think?
Right.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to. Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Kobe said Portal 2 looking ass game, and yep.
Yeah, basically.
Go to
That's
the
in-
right again.
Right again?
Yeah.
We...
Piss off the narrator.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Go to the right again.
Right again.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing
Does anything
responsibly
change if
and
she keeps
always
doing it?
putting the story
No.
first. I'm quite
Oh,
sure you'll be up
alright.
to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
If you go behind you, back towards the start.
No.
Ah, darn.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
The narrator is so done with you making decisions.
Yeah.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code. Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall. I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Just so you know, there's literally no way to.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Very strange out of body moment there at the end of that one.
Indeed.
I must say, many years later, in retrospect, looking back on, what this company has done, that ending is right there at the end. It reminds me a tiny bit of the narrative of their other game.
I unfortunately have not seen it.
Fair enough. Then I will not say anymore, which is part of the reason why I worded that ambiguously in case anyone present here, wants to see that game for themselves.
Yeah, it makes sense. And good not to spoil it for anyone who might be watching anyway.
Exactly.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
So, you want to see a sort of secret ending?
Yeah, sure. After that,
No matter
I
how
think
hard Stanley
I will call
looked,
it though.
he couldn't find a
Oh,
trace
okay.
of his co-workers.
Well, unless it's super short.
It is kind of short, actually. We could show you two we could show you two secret endings, actually.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
What do you think?
No.
Ah, then in that case we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Absolutely brilliant commentary.
Stanley
great.
had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Well, at this point, we've been playing long enough to get the random starting things like that.
Oh, I genuinely thought that those were just triggered after certain endings. I did not know
At
that was
first,
random.
Stanley assumed he'd broken the map.
I assume they're
until he
random.
heard this
I'm not
narration
actually entirely
and
sure.
realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There
I don't think I've
once was a
actually seen
man
this
named
ending.
Stanley, who people
Really?
considered so manly.
Yeah, I've seen people do
But the
this, but
truth
everyone's
must be
defiant
told,
and
he
goes
was
no,
not
and then
very
they always
old
assume
and
that
was
the other
quite
option's the same.
particularly gangly.
Huh.
What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
That is a song that I mentioned I had stuck in my head when I was walking to work after I got the announcement email for the Stanley Parable up to Deluxe's release date.
Really?
Yeah, I just had that stuck in my head.
That's super fun. I like that. I can't believe I've never seen this before.
It's pretty great. Now we just get an instrumental version of it until you leave.
Then we should probably leave.
Yep.
Indeed. So is this where we call it, Taylor, or do you want to see one more secret ending?
Oh,
Yeah, because
show me one more.
yeah, there is
Okay.
another one that's probably about as long as that one that we could show you.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. See, given that this is a Unity remake of this game, I don't actually know how to do this.
Wait, what ending are you? Oh, I guess I'll find out in a moment. I don't remember this ending, but I might want you to trigger it.
They have to have a way to do this in this version of the game.
Whatever it is, presumably yes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been so focused on being faithful to the original that they have to have a way.
I would agree. Well, push comes to shove, if you can't figure it out, we could do literally all the other endings, and then you can Google it afterwards.
I mean, I'm Googling it right now.
Oh, I see. I was afraid that you might be concerned that you might run into spoilers if you did that.
I think I might actually need to restart the game if I were to
Huh.
follow the exact same steps that you would follow in the original. Alright, well, allow me to do something real quick.
I have a strong feeling you're about to show us an ending I've never seen.
Huh. Well, that would certainly be interesting.
I don't recall any YouTubers that I've watched play through this game ever having done anything even vaguely like what you're doing.
Opening
I
the
have.
settings menu.
Well, I mean, people use settings for their own purposes of setting up the game, sure, at the start, but whatever Grayson's about to do that requires using the menus, I'm pretty sure I don't recall.
Alright, we'll see if this works. And yeah, we will have to set the favorite time. Taylor, what's your favorite time?
Um, my favorite time. Probably 6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m.?
Yeah. So that's when I get off work on my latest days.
That's a good reason.
Ah, 6:30 p.m., your favorite time of day. Or could you
Yeah.
simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 6:30 p.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 6:30 p.m.?
Grayson,
But,
share your screen.
shit, I forgot that it stopped.
Yep.
Here we go, we get a slider for how accurate 6:30 is. I'd say decently inaccurate. About there feels right, yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhat accurate, but it's mostly inaccurate.
You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish I had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders that I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders that gather some new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game.
Is this gonna become its own ending? I swear to God.
It feels like it.
Yep. The open and close the game ending.
Did they really not like carry this one over? What the fuck?
You may have to look into this more between now and the next recording. Am I forgetting wrong? But isn't there like some weird thing you can do with like a copier as well? Maybe you could do that if I'm not just making shit up.
Copier? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm probably making something up in my head. I had this weird recollection vaguely of there being like some sort of secret ending that came about from like clicking like some button on a copier and then like turning off all the computers and then some other thing somewhere else. I don't remember. Probably because it's not real. I just made something up.
I'm not seeing anything. Oh, hang on. Oh. Okay, I guess they've moved this one to behind the new content door.
I see. Interesting.
That's what I got the impression of when I looked at the Steam discussion thing that I found.
Probably not doing that one today then.
Yeah, rather unfortunate.
Indeed. Kind of weird.
Should I still show a short ending?
Sure. Honestly,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what other
Well,
short
I mean,
endings there
it's
are.
it's Taylor's decision ultimately.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What do you think,
Stanley
Taylor?
decided to go to the meeting
said
room.
yeah, sure.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Oh, well, look who's got cold feet. Sorry to break it to you, Stanley, but that lift isn't coming back. You'd best either get comfortable right here on this platform, or test your luck by jumping to the floor below. You know what? Looking at it now, it's not that far to the bottom floor. I bet you can make it. Whoops. Looks like I was wrong. How clumsy of me.
There we go.
Literally just the narrator saying, oopsie.
Yep, oops.
Oops.
Just a little fucky wucky.
Indeed.
Oh, I think there's only like 2 more endings that I can think of before we get to the new content stuff.
Isn't there? So, excluding the stupid one, isn't there like 3?
You know what? DM me the ones that you're thinking of.
What was that?
DM me the ones that you're thinking of.
Okay, one moment. Trying to find your thing.
Oh yeah, I know I can get an achievement because I looked at the list of achievements by maxing out all the sliders.
Fair. I did not know that was the thing, that's pretty cool. This game has so many things in it. I've gone ahead and sent you the endings that I still count as being left.
Well, I didn't get it, unfortunately. The achievement, I mean.
This is
Oh,
the
that's-
story of a man named Stanley.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Indeed. Oh well, it was worth a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Camera's look speed or camera look speed when dragging the mouse. I don't even know what the difference is. or whatever. Oh yeah, the last one was the one that I forgot.
Yep, that's absolutely a thing that exists and should be looked at.
Yeah, which, because I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to fill in, Taylor, is the one that I mentioned earlier being so obscure that I would have to show you. You wouldn't find it on your own.
Uh,
So it's funny that I even mentioned it earlier, and then I forgot about it when, like, trying to think of how many endings were left.
Yep. So there's
How was it even found in the first place?
Well, I mean, this game is fairly popular, so, of course, people found it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where most likely someone was just fucking around to see if they could mess the game up, but didn't expect that the thing that messes the game up is actually intentional.
Yeah, like the climbing out the window thing. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
or the
another
thing.
one. There's another
Yeah.
ending that I forgot about.
Oh, can you PM me that one back? Because I have honestly forgot what else exists.
Oh, and another one now that I think about it.
Yeah, and of course, we're not counting the stupid one.
The stupid one.
I'll type that one to you back in chat. The one that no sane person would actually do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the first one was the one I was trying to hint at there with the copy machine and the computers. I guess I just forgotten exactly what the detail of it was. I don't think I've heard of the second one. I'm not familiar with the second one.
Well, regardless, we can explore that stuff next time.
Yep. That.
And next time we'll have some new sliders to adjust.
Hmm.
Definitely looking forward to what data the game is going to collect.
Indeed.
I can't believe they turned, like, booting the game multiple times into, like, gag. How ridiculous.
Indeed.
Anyway, stream's over.